Good morning. Let us open with prayer. We say thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day that we come together in love, as love, and through love. We are open and receptive to the love, to the light, to the creative power that we are. And as we allow Spirit to guide us on that next step of the journey, we are surrounded with infinite ideas, and we move forward as love, healing, and serving. With each other and with a greater community of compassion, kindness, and understanding. And we say thank you, sweet Spirit, for this time together. Amen. And now we'll sing, I'm Choosing Heaven Today.
Choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing my thoughts today. I'm choosing my thoughts today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing my thoughts today. I'm choosing life today. I'm choosing life today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing life today.
Thank you, Colette and Judy, for saying yes and standing in at the last minute once again. It's been an adventure recently with the weather and with Phil up in the holler, stuck still. About the time it thaws out, it's snowed again. So I truly appreciate you saying yes and being here with us today. So welcome to Unity of Louisville, where our mission is to transform ourselves and the world through love, healing, and service. And I do want to just say thank you, Gerry, for the love and support that you and Margot continue to give to this community and to me to come in and speak and just to share with your classes and everything that you guys do. We are truly blessed by your love. So thank you very much for being here. And then Sabrina, thank you for coming in and helping with all this crazy stuff and unlocking doors when I lock myself out and can't get in anywhere. It happens. So I just really, really appreciate everyone today and every day. But really, on Sundays, it just makes my heart sing when you guys all show up. And so that brings me to you that are here for the very first time. You also make my heart sing because you said yes to joining us this morning. So know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, that you are welcome here with us as the love that you are and the light that you are. And just allow whatever resonates within your heart to stick with you, and anything that doesn't quite feel comfortable yet, just to let it go. And be open and receptive to the love that we bring to the world. And if you're one of our regular members, we love you, we bless you, we behold the living spirit of life moving in and through you. And so I do truly appreciate you. And for most of you, you know that this week we opened our doors as a community in that love to people who are experiencing houselessness right now. And it's been a true adventure. And the real adventure is that the team that asked, and I said yes, and they took total responsibility, and I just kind of checked in and debriefed every day. It's been an amazing, amazing shift in this community's consciousness, and I'm truly blessed by all of you. So thank you. Thank you especially to Leah and Leah Zellers, Yura Smith, and Kim Summers. You guys are absolutely tremendous. And Bethany Long, too. We are blessed by all of you guys. You're showing us a new way, so thank you. And now as you greet your neighbor, greet them in love. If you haven't already, go ahead and share the service with your family and friends so they can become part of this wonderful community that we are. And it extends not only to the community here at the downtown church, but also to our sister church at Unity of East Louisville. You know, they also have been supporting us all through the week, and we are truly blessed to have 2 wonderful communities of unity in Louisville. So thank you all. And now we're going to do our Lord's Prayer, followed by a moment of silence where we bless each other with that love and hold the high watch together.
O heavenly Spirit, who in love abideth, we worship thee, we praise thy holy name. Teach us thy children evermore to love thee. Thy will be done in earth as heaven today. Teach us thy children evermore to love thee. Thy will be done in earth as heaven today. Oh, give us grace to meet the coming morrow. Forgive our debts as others we forgive. Thou leavest not thy children in temptation, and from all error thou deliverest us. Thine is the kingdom, thine the power and glory, world without end, forevermore. Amen.
Today's daily word is let go and let God. And the affirmation is, I do what is mine to do and release the rest. Let's say that together. I do what is mine to do and release the rest. Let's say it 2 more times. I do what is mine to do and release the rest. And now with zeal. I do what is mine to do and release the rest. Over the years, I have accepted more and more responsibility as I have grown in maturity and experience. I have also grown in wisdom as I am able to discern what is mine to do. I have learned what to take on and what to leave for others. I have also learned not to exhaust myself by taking on too many commitments. Perhaps most important, I know when to use my will and determination to make things happen and when to let go. I recall times in my life when I felt frustrated that events did not unfold the way I had expected. I can see now how they unfolded perfectly, often in ways better than I could have imagined. I now let go easily, trusting in that perfection. From Acts 17:28, in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring. Today's daily word is let go and let God.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. Then every thought becomes a prayer.
And so we take a few moments to allow that message to sink into our being. We both enter into and create a quiet space. So I encourage you all to just settle in where you are. And begin to get a sense of our connection with one another. Even though we are not physically occupying the same space. This connection would not exist in the same way without each one of you. We can begin to know and hold one another's presence beyond the senses, beyond the intellect, and still know the truth of it. It is a reflection of those marvelous words from the Christ, who said, whenever two or more are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. No matter what the physical distance might be between us, wherever two or more are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. And so it is in the midst of us. The presence, the consciousness of the Christ. Notice how you choose to be open to that truth. It would not exist unless you were aware of it. Here it is. This created connection between you and the divine, between you and all these others who are gathered together with a similar love, a similar intention, a similar vibration, a similar willingness to grow, to share, to evolve. Resting in that space. Nowhere to go, nothing else to do. Opening to this marvelous sense of oneness that can be expressed in many ways. Peace, joy, gratitude. And how from this circle of love comes this marvelous harmony of all of these spiritual voices being raised in unison, in yearning, in healing, in openness, in transformation, in raising the vibration of all that we see, all that we touch, all of our memories, all of our lives, all of our truth. The German mystic Meister Eckhart once said, "If my only prayer is thank you, that would be enough." You will carry this with you. This silence, this peace, this grace. It's always here. You can take a couple of deep, conscious breaths. stretch a bit. And when you choose to open your eyes when you are ready, hear again the words of the Christ who said, "Behold, I make all things new." Behold, I make all things new.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your heart has longed for, what your soul can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, unity. We are one, we are
Thank you. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings remember who they are. I could not help but think of that marvelous saying of Jesus during that song of, the Father hears your prayer even before it is spoken. Father knows the desire of your heart even before it is expressed. If we really knew that, how would it affect our choices? Would we choose differently? Would we choose more gently? Would we choose more openly? Would we make ourselves available to asking for help? Not just when we need it, but asking for help each moment of each day. Help me to choose what's right for me, because most of the time I don't know. I think I know what I need. I know what I want. And I think what I want, when I get what I want, is going to make me happy or whatever. It doesn't usually. Or if it does, it's only for a split second. What would it be like if my continual prayer was, Lord, that I may see? Show me, allow me to manifest, allow me to open myself to, allow me to create what it is that I truly need. Not what I want, but what I truly need in this particular moment in my life. I continue to go back sometimes to that wonderful line from the rock opera Tommy. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. It might not have been meant that way originally, but that is, to me, is such a marvelous prayer. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. And notice what that does to our choices. Instead of choosing what I want, instead of even trying to choose what I need, I open myself to the truth of my soul's yearning at this particular moment. And I allow myself to be healed, I allow myself to be fed, I allow myself to be held, I allow myself to be touched. I allow myself to be real. Sometimes I think I am free, but I really wonder if I am. We all showed up here on Sunday morning, because that's what we do on Sunday morning. Oh yeah, I go to Gerry's class, or I check in on Unity, and I do, because I do, that's what I do. It's what you do, but was it free? Did you do it just because you're used to doing it? What would it be like to take a moment just to step back and ask myself a question? What are all the things that might influence my choices in life? And just notice what you begin to come up with. I remember years ago I was talking to a class when I was working in a treatment center for alcohol and drug rehabilitation. And I was talking to a class of family members who were rather hostile at the moment because they didn't particularly like the idea that their son or daughter or spouse was in treatment and didn't understand anything about alcoholism or any other kind of addiction. And I was trying to get the message across a little bit, and without beating dead horses. And I came up with this idea. I said to them, I said, now, is there anything in your life that you would like to change? I said, it's a rhetorical question, but you can imagine you raising your hand or not. And so, I could tell everybody, yeah. I said, do you have a general idea at least of what you need to do in order to make that change possible? And I could tell again, I had pretty much confirmation from everybody out in the audience. So for instance, if you'd like to be in, let's say, better physical shape or healthier, Say, well, okay, that's my desire, that's what I'd like. And I know the things that I need to do. I need to drink more water. I need to, put more fruits and vegetables in my diet and blah, 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 blah. We know all the things we need to do to be exercise once a day. And all of it, we know all the things we need to do. Third question, how come you're not doing it? And all of a sudden, this is not on purpose, I wasn't trying to manipulate anybody, but all of a sudden you could see this look of consternation on people's faces. How they began to realize, if they were open enough to it, that there were any number of goals in their lives that they wanted to be able to achieve, that they had the methods and the means of being able to achieve them, but they weren't doing anything about them. Now, it's a really difficult step to go from that place to recognize that I am choosing not to put in practice what I already know. Nobody likes to look, I don't like to look at that. Because I've got to ask myself the same 3 questions all the time. I don't like to look at that. I know nobody likes to look at that. But that's really kind of the crux of the matter is, how come how did Paul put it? How come I do what I don't want to do? I don't do what I love, I do what I hate. What's the matter with me? Well, the answer could be really simple. You're a human being. And you tend to avoid responsibility. You would much rather blame it on someone else or something else. To be responsible for getting my body in shape means that I'm also responsible if it doesn't get in shape. And I'd much rather blame somebody else for that impossibility than to take on that responsibility myself. Now, we can raise that to all sorts of different levels, and this is not about judgment, please. Because it's very easy once we start getting into self-questioning like that to fall into judgment and say, well, there must be something really the matter with me because I'm not doing this right. It's not about that at all. It's about beginning to enter into a consciousness that is sometimes referred to in spiritual literature as the witness or the observer. The witness or the observer consciousness is part of our spiritual being that has the ability to step away from or to step out of a particular situation and to see it in a very non-judgmental but understanding kind of way. It's not psychological disassociation, but it is a certain amount of detachment, of stepping away. Let's suppose, for instance, that I think I'm having difficulty with someone in my life whom I love and who loves me back. That somehow or another that relationship just doesn't feel right. There's something missing or something that needs to be done. And I don't know what that is. And I don't want to blame the other person for that because I realize that I'm responsible for whatever this is too. And so in order for me to be able to understand what it is and how to be able to deal with it, I need to take a step out of that emotional state of mind that something's missing, that something's wrong here. Take a step out of that emotional state of mind and take a look at this in a very non-judgmental, non-attached kind of way. And so I do that. I step out of it and I look at myself and I look at this other person. I say, now what's going on here? And maybe one of the first things I notice is that somehow or another I am carrying around a sense of guilt or shame or that says, I'm not doing enough in this relationship. And what I'm doing is I'm projecting that on the other person and saying, well, I think that's why they're pushing me away, which has nothing to do with the truth. It is what's going on with me. But when I allow myself to be in that objective, non-judgmental state of mind, if I am open enough to it, all of a sudden I realize there are things that I can do to change that, to make that situation different. Not that the other person has to do anything, but maybe what I need to do is stop for a minute and let go. And saying, I am feeling guilty about something that I don't even know whether really exists or not. And that most of that is my own self-talk regards to my own self-doubt. So what would it be like in my relationship with this other person if I were to let go of all of that stuff? And all of a sudden, in asking that question, the stuff that I've been holding on to begins to disappear. Sort of melts like the snow, and I realize the only thing that is getting in the way, the only thing that's skewed about this relationship is my thoughts about myself. Oh, I can do something about that. My favorite commercial. could have had a V8. I could do this differently. Course in Miracles suggests that's a wonderful question to be able to ask ourselves. I would say to myself, how can I choose this different? How could I see this differently? And if you don't like what you've done, what the choices you've made, you can change that. I remember Leo Biscaya one time, the love doctor, said, if you don't like the scene, get the hell off the stage. Well, the metaphysical reality of that is if you don't like the scene, create another one. You have the ability to do that. None of us needs to be controlled by external events. That doesn't mean we're not going to be, but to realize that we are the ones who are allowing that to happen. We're making that into a truth that somehow or another, if this is going on, or if that's going on, or if this is going on, then I have to somehow or another be affected by that. And if that's going on, then this is how I'm supposed to react to it. We had a great example of that fairly recently in the elections. Now people voted and people didn't vote. That was a choice people made. People voted for one side, people voted for the other side. That was another choice for me. But I really wonder how many choices were made out of fear? How many choices were made out of outrage? How many choices were made because we thought that we couldn't live without that choice? Or how many choices were made that I'm not going to make a choice? What I'm suggesting is if we were to stop and look at it, ask ourselves the question, how were my choices really free? Or were they dictated by fear, by outrage? Were they dictated by past experience? Were they dictated by projection into the future? Were they chosen or choices that I made out of my own sense of hatred or separateness? And if they were they really free? I'm not making a judgment about that. I am suggesting, and this happens to me all the time when I'm given the opportunity to make a sermon like this, I have to get into my own space of self-questioning and say, how does this working for me? How free am I? How free am I writing this sermon? Do I want everybody to like me because I did a good job? Is that going to interfere with my freedom? I'm suggesting that for practically everything that you and I do, there are hundreds or perhaps thousands of pieces of mixed motivation that we are not even conscious of. I remember doing a hypnotherapy class a number of years ago, and one of our teachers, who I really respected and really liked, he said, you know, practically at least 80% of all of your actions during a day are motivated by the unconscious. You're not even aware that you're making a choice. Or the choice that you're making is influenced by past behavior, by past ideas, by prejudices, by old things, by old messages, by old tapes, by old ideas, and you're not even aware that you're not doing it on your own. A student once asked his master, he said, Master, what is the secret of the spiritual life? And the master said, awareness. And the student said, Master, I don't quite understand. And so the master cleared his throat and said, awareness. The student was still somewhat befuddled. Master, I still... Awareness! What would it be like if you were aware how unconditionally loved you are? Would that influence your choices? Would that make a difference about how you responded to yourself, about how you responded to your own self-talk, about how you responded to other people? What would it be like to be aware that you always have the freedom of choice? What would it be like to be aware that, as one of my teachers likes to say, you are the meaning maker of your life? You decide what everything in your life means. And you have a choice to decide one way or the other, or thousands of different ways of taking a look. What does this mean? What does it mean to me? You are the meaning maker of your life. No one and nothing else is. I was gifted with a piece of spiritual wisdom a number of years ago that I forget quite often but keeps coming back to me. And that is the sense or the idea of asking myself the question every once in a while, does what I am planning on doing or what I am thinking about or the thought that I am holding in my mind, does it open my heart or does it close my heart? And I've gotten to the point, and I've noticed this with quite a few other people, that we can actually feel what, and I mean feel not in an emotional sense necessarily, but almost on a physical level or a vibrational physical level of what it's like to have a closed heart and what it's like to have an open heart. We can know that. We can be, and part of my trip right now, this time around anyway, is being aware of that. Is my heart open? Is it closed? And I can almost feel that vibrationally when something happens and I fall into judgment or anger or outrage or separateness, and bam, it's like a door being closed. I feel my heart close up. Now, what kind of choices are available to me with a closed heart? Not many. What kind of choices are available to me with an open heart? Practically as many or any that I want. Can I walk through a day becoming a little bit more aware of having an open heart or a closed heart? There's no rules here. There's no way of saying, okay, this is what you should do, this is how you should choose. Because that is going to vary for each one of us probably by moment to moment to moment to moment. And what is the best choice for me this moment might not be the best choice for me 5 minutes from now. I don't know that, neither do you. I mean, we can plan for the next 5,000 years, but none of us knows what's going to happen in the next minute. I mean, I'm sure Valerie had to contend with that most of last week, okay? And I really honor you and the church for doing that. That is such a that was a choice you made. And just an absolutely beautiful one. Thank you for that. Because notice what that does. That blesses everybody. I make a choice to do this particular act of service. Now, obviously, some people, some individuals are directly blessed by that. But in a very real sense, in a way that goes beyond our human understanding, that blesses everybody, blesses everything, blesses the universe. It is so powerful and so beautiful, and that's a choice we make. I can see love instead of this. I could see peace instead of this. One of my favorite stories about choice is in Christian scripture, the story of Martha and Mary, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. Jesus was visiting with Lazarus' family, who he was great friends with. And Mary was just sitting at his feet, just sort of like almost a cat sitting in the sunshine, okay? Just sort of sucking it up. This absolutely wonderful, loving, unconditionally loving presence, and I'm sitting here basking in the sunlight. Now Martha, who is much more practical, is in the kitchen, and she's cooking dinner. But of course she notices all these other people who are not cooking dinner, who are sort of basking in the sunlight, and so she starts banging some pots. And you ever do this? You start banging some pots and pans together a little bit more, you know, just to get their attention, to let them know, I'm really sweating here, man. I'm really working hard. And finally, since nobody recognizes all the banging of the pots and pans of the work she's doing, she complains about it. And Jesus wonderfully says, Martha, Martha, thou art busy about many things, but Mary has chosen the better part. Now that's really nice, but someone still has to cook dinner. What he was saying, I believe, is, Martha, you can also choose the better part in cooking dinner. You don't have to sit and bask in the sunlight to get the unconditional love that I am being able to offer each one of you. All you have to do is choose to change your point of view. One of my favorite examples of that is Thich Nhat Hanh was talking to a group of people, and he said, when you're doing any even everyday task, you can make that into an act of love, no matter what it is. His example was, when you're doing the dishes, imagine that each dish is a little baby Buddha. How would that change doing the dishes? It's no longer I'm still doing the dishes, but I'm turning it into an act of love. What a powerful expression of choice. I'm still doing what's necessary. I'm still doing what I need to do, but I'm not carrying that around with me as a burden or something that's getting in my way. I am doing it as an act of service and an act of love. Every moment, every day. We began with the idea of asking for help. Lord, that I may see. Help me to choose. Help me to choose to have an open heart in doing whatever it is that I am being called to do today. Excuse me, whether that is giving a sermon, shoveling snow, opening my house, opening my home to someone who needs it, or just sitting down and having breakfast. Can I make that into an act of love? Can I choose that to be an act of love rather than just something that I'm doing? And it is only the ego that begins to think, oh my God, that seems so exhausting to be aware every minute. And yet to the soul, to the spiritual aspect of our being, it said, wouldn't it be wonderful to be open to the truth of being unconditionally loved every moment of every day, and to have the possibility of being able to share that divine union with unconditional love with everyone I meet and everyone I see. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings remember who they are. Thank you.
My day in the hills has come to an end. I know a star has come out to tell me it's time to go. But deep in the dark green shadows are voices that urge me to stay. So I pause and I wait and I listen for one more thing, for one more lovely sound that the hills might say. The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. My heart wants to beat like the wings of the birds that rise from the lake to the trees. My heart wants to sigh like a chime that flies from a church on a breeze, to laugh like a brook as it trips and falls over stones on its way, to sing through the night like a lark who is learning to pray. I go to the hills when my heart is lonely. I know I will hear what I've heard before. My heart will be blessed with the sound of music, and I'll sing once more.
Wow, what a beautiful service. Thank you so much, Gerry. Thank you, Colette. Your words and your music touches my heart and everybody else's too. There are hearts flying all over Facebook right now and all over the world. So that's a blessing to each and every one of us. And so as we come to that time where we give our gifts of love, you can go on to our websites at unityoflouisville.org, unityofeastlouisville.org, and make a donation on our website. You can mail in a check, and Sabrina will put in the addresses for that and the P.O. box for downtown. Or you can text to give at 844-996-2710. And know that all your gifts go in and through this community as love, and to fulfill the mission and to help with what we did this past week and what will continue to unfold going into the future, whatever that is. And so let us just take it into our hands and say our prosperity proclamation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. Amen. Couple of announcements. We have a couple of surveys. If you haven't completed it yet, they're in the e-news. One is about communication. How can we communicate with you? So I know some people read emails, some people like text, some people want a phone call, some people might want somebody to come and visit them. You tell us what it is and how we can connect with you the best way. We have our annual meeting is March the 21st at the downtown location at 12:30. The annual meeting at Unity of East Louisville is March the 7th at 12:30. These are both going to be online, and it's possible that we may have some in-house. We might open up and let some folks in, that the boards at each community get to decide that. And we will let you know probably within the next week. And we will, if they do decide to let people register and come in, they'll send out a notice and you can go online and register. But for right now, you can go online and get the Zoom links for those. I am doing a 9 a.m. and a 6:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday discussion on the Lenten booklet, which you can get and download from unity.org. And then also we'll do prayer requests during that time. So during this time of Lent, just being together in a different way, holding each other in prayer. Okay. And now we're going to do our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. So together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Namaste.